or that your cash tournament partner does. So we offer a couple solutions on this. One we do in-house, and the second we actually have that we integrate through a third party that we can actually help you with. So we do have a cheating handled appropriately. As well, very importantly, we handle everything in terms of your cash transaction. So the way the system works, people come into the game, they simply press a button where it says they want to play multiplayer, and then they can play for fun on our platform or they can play for cash. So if they press the play for cash button, basically they register, they create an account, they make a deposit, and then use that money to enter into cash tournaments, and they can win real money in these tournaments. There's a lot of things happening on the back end of that are not as simple as that explanation. First of all, we have an anti-fraud team. We have an anti-money laundering official in our office. We have a very substantial geo-blocking system. We do a lot of client identification, so we make sure that we're eliminating people who are under 18 years of age and also who are in the wrong territories. And that doesn't mean when they register. That means when they play each game session. You have to check in each game session if you want to be legal. It's very important. If anybody tells you otherwise, you'll be in trouble. And you don't want to be in trouble because these things are very serious. You're dealing with people's money. As well, if you go out and you want to put the cash tournaments into your game, if you want to operate into the largest audience possible, you want to make sure that whoever your partner is operating on a global basis. If you look at some of the partners out there, you'll find that they're in selected territories, and that's going to be an issue for you if you're looking to make the most money possible. Quite simply, if you're exposed to more people will convert, and I think that's one of the things that we learned very, very quickly and easily by a lot of the test cases that we did in selected markets where some things don't work as well as others in terms of conversions. What games are best for cash tournaments? This list is not exhaustive, but what we find is that racing, sports games, endless runners, quite surprisingly, first-person shooters, and then mental and dexterity challenges do very well on our platform. That's, I would say, almost in order of success, but there's a lot of exceptions. We're talking to a bunch of different people about arcade games as well, the traditional arcade games that you might not consider would be good for cash tournaments, but apparently they think they are. Our system is really straightforward. Basically, you can either download it off of our website, or you can deal with us directly, and we help people walk through this on a daily basis. We've got a team dedicated to this. And of course, we have a lot of research, and we have a lot of legal documentation to back up everything that we do. So if you're interested in a way to engage with your audience that's a little bit more, let's say, sticky, something that's not annoying, something that actually allows you to make money alongside, or maybe even turbocharges some of your other monetization models, we're here to help. It's something that you can easily plug in through Cashplay. Is there any questions out there on this? Hey.
You said that if you wanted to pay for cash, how much does a user put in?
Well, we allow from $10 to $100. The average deposit, I think, is around $15. So, and typically what you find is that people exhaust that amount. So they'll come in and they'll actually spend everything that they put in. And it's quite interesting because okay, you're looking at, let's say, a $100 deposit. We operate in some tournaments where we take a 10% pot. In other tournaments we operate where it's what we call an unlimited tournament model, which we're launching right now with the Creative Mobile group. We have a $5,000 cash tournament launching for Christmas. People pay $2 each, and there's some 6 million users in the game, the first game we're launching in. So we think that the revenue figures can be quite good if we look at the conversion rates that we're applying to that from what we've learned in the past. On the back of that, by the way, I didn't mention, everything is operated on our platform on a revenue share basis. So we actually share between 40% and 60% of our revenue with whoever our partner is, whoever development partner or publishing partner is.
How large are the prizes in the tournaments? Like in the example you just gave, it's a $2 buy-in. Now, obviously, you make money, and hopefully the people making the game make the money too, but clearly, to drive the interest, you have to give away a prize. Do you have a ratio or an expectation that you tell developers, this is how much you have to expect to fork in?
Typically, well, interestingly, it depends on the developer and how we work with them, but the typical tournament is, let's say, a limited number of players. So we'll come into, let's say, a 2-person, 3-person, 4-person tournament, and the buy-in will be slightly higher than the actual pot. Usually it's about 10% above, and that's the money that we retain, that we share with everybody else. Yeah. So let's say on a two-person tournament that you're buying in for 55 cents each, we would retain 10 cents, and the users take $1 home. By the way, tournaments usually last in these games about 2 minutes, so you can imagine how frequently that 10 cents is turning over. The figures are quite good, and the revenue shares on the back of that are operating quite well. I should say that there's one subtraction from that figure. We do take out the cost of deposits, but we handle everything else in the background. So the cost of KYC checks, the cost of the geo-blocking, the mapping that goes with that, anything that deals with fraud and all the legal issues around that, as well as operations.
Hi, in the states and countries where it's not legal, do you have any variations that are legal, like virtual currency tournaments or tournaments with prizes instead of cash?
That's a great question. Right now what we do, because we've been focusing on our core model over the last year, is that we allow people to play for fun. So they can go into the game, they basically press the multiplayer button, and the only button that they see is play for fun. We are looking at solutions or partners, quite honestly, for plugging in some sort of a virtual currency to that. So if you know of any, we'd be interested to talk.
What are the 9 states here in the U.S. where you're not licensed?
Oh, hey. Sorry, I got a cold yesterday, and I took, as I said, I've been living abroad for like 2 decades almost, and I bought some nighttime cold medicine here. Wow. I feel really good right now, but it is a little bit trippy with all the lights and everything. So the question was states where we're blocked. It's actually on our website, but I can tell you that it's legal in California, for sure. Is that your question? I can send that to you if you'd like me to afterwards as well.
So you handle all of the deposits and cash outs. What payment methods do you accept, and how do you cash out players?
We accept more payment methods every month. We started with PayPal. Once we got the approvals from WorldPay, which is the operating partner, and RBS for making the transactions on Visa and MasterCard, we added those in, so we have credit and debit. We're live with a test case with Boku, direct-to-carrier payments in the UK right now, and we're talking to a couple players in that same realm for Russia. So we're always looking at new solutions. Quite honestly, the biggest hurdle that you have to overcome in cash gaming is getting people to make that first deposit. And you have to make the system as easy to access and as easy to go through the flows as possible. Because once you get somebody to convert, they're there, and you have them, and they'll come back. But it's that first avenue of getting them to cross the street on a kind of a yellow light.
Do you do skill-based ranking to group players of the same skill into tournaments?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And that's something we learned from our friends in online poker. Online poker has been somewhat ruined for a lot of people by the fact that they just can't win anything because they're constantly being beat down, where the sharks eat all the minnows. We have a ranking system that actually works on a level where you start out in the game with a certain scores that you achieve, and we keep track of these scores, but not only the scores, how often you play as well. Those enter into the algorithm that we put together.
You use synchronous multiplayer?
Synchronous and asynchronous, yeah. We work with, do you know the guys, the Photon server system? So we have a waiting room system where we can work within the game's synchronous system, or we have our own for matching. Cool. That's good. No worries. 25 minutes. Thanks, guys. Thanks, man.
So next, wow, there I am. So next we have a panel. Where are you, Michael? Aaron, where are you? Scanning. Michael.